Welcome to the No Manches Que Paso podcast, a podcast no one asked for about the unfiltered ups and downs of life from the perspective of two Latinas who got familias to manage,
real shit to deal with, and are just taking it one day at a time. Our chismes are your chismes,
porque why not?
Let's
All right,
get into
I
it.
feel like this episode has been on the docket
Yeah.
since season 1. And when we worked together, you came up to me and were just like, I want to be on the podcast. And I was like, done. And ever since season 1, I've been telling Vanessa, like, I got a friend. She's ready.
I watched that first episode of the season, and I was like, put me on. I'm like, get me on.
Yeah. And so here we are. I was excited to have you on.
Excited.
Because I know that once you guys get talking, I can just sit back and enjoy my drink.
Wow,
Oh,
wow,
hell yeah, for
because
sure.
honestly, when you came in, I was like, that's my kind of girl.
Yes.
Right there. She's
Is
all
it the
like,
hoops?
Just, yes. You know,
It's the hoops.
Selena.
Yeah.
I'm bringing a little bit of Selena. So, yes, it is definitely the hoops and just your energy.
I appreciate that.
Just
Thank
like
you.
you were just happy, smiling, and just ready for this episode. So,
I was telling, you guys, the first episode, you guys were like talking about yourselves, right? And you had said something like to the line of, oh, well, I'm more timid at first, you know, and then once you could tell you're getting comfortable, I attract people like that the most. Like most of my friends are way more reserved than me, and then they get to know me and they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
She's crazier than me.
Yes,
I'm good
exactly.
around her.
I can open up.
Yeah.
I can be myself. Yeah.
And that's kind of like when I met Karina, was preparing for that show, and Paul's the owner of Base, had told me about her, and he's like, you know, I really like what she's doing. Like, I want you to connect with her and like make this work. And I was like, I got it. It wasn't my first time working with Paul, so when he brought you on, and you were so quiet, but right off the bat, like as crazy as I am, I'm anal about things, and I want things to be deadlines and things like that, right? Because I do that also for a living. So when I met her, and I was looking at like her stuff, and I'm like, you're on it. Like the way you organize your art, along with the podcast and all the other things that you're doing, I'm like, that's admirable. It's just hard to do everything at once.
Everything, yeah.
And when you meet other people and you're like including them into your stuff, it's like, well, can you jump on this train or not? Because I gotta go. Like, don't nobody got time for this.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that when I started working with you, I was a little skeptical because I had worked with people who had put on events before, and it was me that ended up taking up the responsibility of making sure everyone was on task. And from the first meeting, I was like, okay, she's got it. I can actually just focus on what I got to do. And you made everything so easy. And it was just so great to work with you.
Thank you.
And so this was back last year, October 2023.
Yeah, Day of the Dead weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I started in the art scene in my teen years, right? I told you, like, the grafting.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed with artists and, like, myself was that even though I'm not actually putting paint to brush and all that stuff, I do what they can't do, which is talk to people, curate things, stick to the timelines, help them with whatever they need. Artists in general are so, like, I don't want to say difficult, but they're so different than like a standard person just working. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a purpose of their madness, and it's hard to understand it. But if you just help them out in a way that without having to ask them, then all of a sudden you're getting product, you're getting stuff done. They feel more open to like, hey, can you help me out with this? Or I think I checked in with you guys every week. I was like, how's that coming along? Do you need anything from me? Like, I'll get it for you if you need. Even one of our artists, that was her first time having to present art, and she wasn't ready. And I think towards the end, like, you know, I kept pushing and pushing. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, can I speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Si lo tiene. Si no, it's fine. Like, it's meant for you to shine. It's meant for you to showcase your art. Like, at no point do I want anybody to ever feel like, oh my God, I couldn't do it, and they weren't helpful, and all that stuff. But
when did you start the graphic?
so I was in high school, like everybody else. So I was in high school, and you know, hip hop was in, Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, like all that stuff,
So
right?
so wait, hold on. Let me just. How old are you, girl?
I'll be 37 in May.
Okay, so I'm still older. But anyways, I'm yes, we're 40 because she's always
Yeah.
giving me a
I'm
shit ton.
37
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
Today.
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 Well,
I'm
but
25
we
today.
clicked. We clicked, and we're both Geminis on
Yes,
top of it.
yes.
So yeah, so you started in high school and you
Yeah.
grew up with hip hop.
So
I was
hip
telling
hop,
Karina
daytimes.
too.
You guys remember daytimes? No?
No, I don't.
Is that another thing? So daytimes were you would cut school and you would go to someone's house and throw a party during school time. So those are
See, I wasn't
daytimes.
like that kind of a rebel back then.
Oh.
I mean, there
I'm
were
like, oh.
listen.
Yo
But
tampoco.
my cousin, she actually called in for me like to ditch the
Oh,
rest
that's
of the day.
awesome, yeah.
But my mom found out.
Oh no.
Yeah, because the school called my mom because she like recognized. They're like, this doesn't
Yeah.
sound right. So then my mom, and back in the day we didn't have phones.
Girl.
So
The
she
landline.
found a way. She was all like, and my aunt ended up calling my cousin, was like, Vanessa has to go back to school. I'm like, shit.
Trick.
So yeah, nah, I couldn't. Wasn't able to.
Dang.
My mom had eyes everywhere.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good thing though. I mean, I was really nerdy in high school, but like hip hop just had my
Yes,
heart, you know what I
I-
mean?
I
So I
agree.
purposely like overachieved in school so that when I would miss or when I would leave, like my teacher, oh my God, I was teacher's pet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I did this.
But
Raise my hand first and
I didn't go to
always.
school today, but I did all of this
Yeah.
work.
So anytime that like I would miss, I would like make up some random shit. Like, oh, I had to go with this teacher. Oh, I had to go do that. But I was really in a basement listening to hip hop. And
So then you started with the
yeah,
graphic.
so hip hop. Then a lot of my friends were graffiti writers.
Okay.
And I couldn't. I don't have artistic hands, but my personality is my art. No, so I would like the guys would let me go with them. I dressed like a tomboy, the cornrows with the big white tees and the rubber bands on your pants.
And the bandana.
Yes. And they would just let me tag along. So then we figured that in order to paint a wall without getting in trouble was to make it look like you're there on purpose. And I'm back then, even
like,
back
"Oh,
then,
we
I
can-"
talked a lot.
They hired us to do
Yes,
this.
yes, exactly. So we would pull up to a wall and they'll be like, "All right, Donna, you go talk to the neighbors or whatever, the cops." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we got paid to do this, and we got a grant from the city, and this is my artist friend, and I helped put it together." And I would like write fake proposals and fake contracts,
Get
and
it,
like in
girl.
case they were like, "Where's the permit?" or "Where's this?" And it looked legit.
Dang.
So in order for me to like still be cool with the guys and everyone, I started carrying a backpack and they would throw stickers in there.
Okay.
And everyone just knew, "Oh, Donna puts up stickers." Since I can't write, I'll just put up stickers. So although you drive down the city and you see like all kinds of graph shit stickers and things.
Yeah.
That's probably me. And yeah, and then throughout the years, the graph scene took me and art took me, and I call it. I've
Yeah.
been homeless before. I've been in situations where like I've ended up in the street, and if it wasn't for graph, I don't know if I would be here. You know?
Yeah. So did that happen like during high school, or was that like after like graduating high school?
Yeah.
that
So
you were
after I
in?
graduated, I had a home situation. I left. I really didn't have anywhere to go, and I was just out here partying. Like, yeah.
Partying up. So you made a lot of friends, and are you still friends with those
Yeah.
people? Yeah.
So I'm still in the scene per se, but I think it got harder like once the new generation started kind of taking over the sentiment that hip hop used to have here in Chicago, specifically in the graph scene, is so different. Back then it was like we didn't give a shit, like just come hang out. Now maybe because I'm older, they're not as accepting of like I'm just a curator. Or they see it like, oh, Donna's just a curator. Like she doesn't even do art. She's exploiting artists. And it's like, I'm doing what you can't do. I'm helping you expose your art.
Yeah.
So for more people to know it, right? And
Right.
for more people to be like, hey, that artist was dope, like blah, blah, blah. But also being a girl, right? Being a girl, it's
yeah.
majority dudes. It's hard. That's why the show was really special too, Paul. This is the first time Paul was like, it's all women. You're going to run it. It's all women. And I was like, ooh, fun.
So what did the show that you guys did? It just showcased like artists from
Yeah.
all over Chicagoland area?
No,
or-
it was 6 of you guys, and it was mostly South Side artists, female artists, Hispanic artists, and you guys all kind of knew each other somehow. I still don't know how, but
Yeah, so I knew one of the photographers, and she knew Paul because she works at a coffee shop in Englewood.
Yeah.
And they sometimes will like use their beans. I think
Oh, okay, yeah.
one of them uses one of the other one's beans.
yeah.
And so
That's a tongue twister, man.
I know. I don't want to get it
awesome.
wrong.
Yeah.
I think the coffee shop in Englewood is a roaster, or they supply the beans for.
And then Paul buys them for the
Base
shop, for the cafe. Mhm.
Yes,
Ah,
and
okay.
so she messaged me and was like, "Okay, I have this opportunity. Do you want to come hang your photos at the cafe with me?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And she was like, "We're having a meeting this day." And I'm like, "I'm there." And it was just me and you that showed up, and Paul kind of like talked us about the vision. And
But
I
that's
don't
the
know,
thing
you
too.
brought
Paul
it.
just was like, I love him. That's my brother. Paul is the one that put me on to art shows. I was 16, 17, and they used to do, Elder Tree was called, used to do underground hip hop shows. And he was like, between him and his friends, everybody collaborated. Everybody works the event so it could be successful. And I was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. And he worked with my mom, and my mom was like, okay, but she can only go with you. And that was it. Once I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like hip hop everything. Like, and little by little, as I got older, he, his career also, has elevated, and he would put me on like, hey, we're going to do this. I need you to do this. And I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
He didn't just give things to me, he made me work for it and taught me like, if you want to be legit, if you want this to be a real event, this is what you have to do from start to end. So that day that he called me for that, I walked into it too. On the phone, he's like, you're just going to be here for support. And I'm like, okay. I already knew. I know him so well. I already knew. I'm like, I got it. Don't
It was
trip.
like your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like towards the end, he's like, you're in Karina. I'm like, Paul. Because I'm really hands-on. Like all this stuff, again, right? Like in order to be a successful curator, you have to make sure that the artist is happy. They have everything they need. The day of the show that they're there and that they're talking to people, right? That's hard when you're in a room full of people and you're like, where do I
Yeah,
start?
and you said you have social anxiety too.
But
you
it works so
mentioned it
well
to me earlier.
Yeah, so it works so well because people can't tell. They just think I'm crazy. They're like, this bitch won't stay still, right? And so I was greeting them. People were coming in. I would greet them at the door. I was giving them art tours. I would take them to the altar. I would like explain about the artist, and they're just like, some
You're
people
like-
look at me like, I don't know what the fuck this bitch just said, but sure. But it looks better. It makes the event look more put together.
Yeah, of course.
You
Especially
know.
when you have someone that has the knowledge and
And it's
the
a lot
expert-
of pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a lot of people show up, right? And to me, that's impressive. Like, your people that follow you came to see your work there. I need to make sure that I put a good event together so that it reflects good on you, too,
Yeah,
Team.
and I actually sold pieces after that show. Well, one on show day and then one after show day.
It was fun. But I don't do shows anymore. Not as much.
No? Is it why? Is it because you don't
It's a lot of fucking work.
it's a lot of work?
It's a lot of work for free.
Oh, it's free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that and so I used to do it a lot more pre-COVID. Then COVID happened. Right, that week that COVID happened, I had 5 shows in the books, like that month.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is crazy. So I stopped doing it. Then my cousin was murdered during the riots.
Oh.
And I know it sounds so crazy, but like that happening just killed, like seeing the way the city was during that just killed that motivation of mine. Like
Yeah.
I no longer had it in me to put myself out there like I did before, When my cousin was murdered in Chicago, there was this narrative of black versus brown, right? Like they were the police. It was easier for the
Yeah.
police
To pin it.
to do that, like let them just, that sounds bad, like kill each other off, than to take care of it. And I get it, I have police friends too, and they had to be safe in their own way. So my cousin got caught in the mix of all that, and he was murdered. And then after he passed that week, with social media, there was video, and I was like, this is effed up. Like, you would think, right, that social media is supposed to be there to like inform everyone and like keep you updated and things like that. But when it hits close to home like that, it's such a negative effect.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not always accurate information that's being, posted on social media, or it's a perspective,
And everyone was
perception of
heightened.
somebody else.
Yeah, everyone's like attitude was already so heightened. So like dealing with everyone's different. Oh, and we're gonna do this and that's and justice, and it was just like I don't want to anymore.
You're like, yeah.
It just wasn't fun anymore.
So
I only do it for
then the
fun now.
most recent one you did was in October. So you don't have anything else.
No, I
the
was
future.
supposed to. I thankfully, like the connections that I've made throughout the years, like I know great artists, like artists that like I admire, and I'm like, oh my God, they're my friends. But they do great things, and I'm like, I would do it if somebody that I knew was like, hey, Donna, I want to do this. Would you help me out? 100%, I'm there.
Right.
And those people know that. I make it very clear, like, whatever you need, like, holler at me. I'm your girl. I got you. But I wouldn't do it like I used to before, in the
Right,
sense of
right,
like just
right.
opening up myself to
Yeah.
everyone. No,
Yeah.
that's too much.
Unless you're getting paid.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, this past time I didn't, but like, so I used to, and I always share the secret per se, just because like the more shows we have, the better. It's something to do. It's family inclusive. Like, I love that, especially now, we were talking about like our teenagers, right? You have teenagers too, like
yeah.
having bigger kids. I love that we're able to expose them to art shows, family
Yeah.
events, events that have hip hop included in it, or different things like that. Because when we were younger, I didn't go to an art show till I was in my 20s.
Girl, I think we were talking about this, but like, art wasn't like something that our parents wanted us. Oh yeah, like, oh yeah, mom, I really want to get into like liberal arts, or like, editing or something, or just creating art in general. That just wasn't like something that they were, I guess, pushing you to. They wanted you to, they thought art is for struggling people that are not going to be able to make money and stuff like that. So they were not educated.
It was
And
irrelevant to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, art is just so massive. Like there's so many different, careers you can make out of it.
Yeah. And just the culture of it, I think, too, right? Like my oldest hates art things but she went to an art show with me last night. But she likes it because it's something that she could do with me. It's something that's not late.
Right.
And my little one loves it. And on my parents, as they see it, I feel like that. Like I was able to this is like something I'm able to give them that they wouldn't have never known
Yeah.
their entire lives, because they're always, they grew up surviving, working, like worried about raising kids. Like
Right.
art was just like whatever, like
Right.
not important at all.
That's
but-
like, oh, you're not going to make money
Yeah.
in art. Why don't you be a doctor, a lawyer, or, you know.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, I go so hard for it for that same reason, right? Like, I just think it opens up so many different, like, groups of people, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what art show you go to, just being there and, like, being around all kinds of people, you're like, damn, there's so much more out there that I had no idea about.
Girl, I mean, when I went to Columbia College, which is a liberal arts school.
Yeah.
I mean, I came from Wheeling High School, right? The suburbs,
Yeah.
northwest suburbs. Came to, a liberal school, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so many different like people, and I felt at home. Like
Yeah.
this is where I belong. These are my people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because everybody has the same, I mean, somewhat the same mentality, like
Just that free spirit,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does something to you as a person. Like when you feel that everybody else is so comfortable in their weirdness, you then are like,
Right.
hell
Hey,
yeah.
I'm fucking weird too,
Right.
bitch.
Little do you know. No, straight up. But I love that about graph and all that stuff. We were talking about buying art, and I'm like, so we got our taxes, and I just spent like, I bought 2 big art pieces, and I was like so fulfilled. I was like, oh my God, I really wanted this for a long time. Like, I'm so proud of myself.
That's-
And one of them is from a friend of mine. The dude that did the life painting at my show.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
end, it was supposed to be one thing, and at the end, it turned out to be another. And obviously, I have to clean up and take whatever I have
Yeah.
to take with me. So I had this piece in my house, and it's like as a little bigger than this sign from floor to top. And I kept looking at it every day, and I'm like, it's gonna be mine, it's gonna be mine. I'm like, well, he's not asking me for it. So jokingly, one day I was like, I might as well just keep it. But that's shitty, that's his art.
Yeah.
It's like, so I jokingly said it, and he was like, you can hold on to it until you're ready. And I'm like, okay. So
That means until you're ready to pay me.
yeah, so I did, and I was like, and sending them the money for the painting, and like I was like feeling like I was supporting my friend, and I was
Yeah,
like,
of
dude, like I
course.
love that piece. I love seeing it every day, and he's like, you have like 100 million pieces in your house. I'm like, I know, but
But this one is just different.
And
you
each one
know?
tells a story. I think that's what,
Yes.
as an artist, when you create, you're putting your story and a piece of you on the paper, or like
Yeah.
as you snap a photo, like that is part of that person, which is like so sentimental. And
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
it's like yes, it's worth every penny. It's
Yeah.
like to somebody that doesn't appreciate art, they can be like, oh my God, that is so expensive. I could have done that. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like
Especially when a piece speaks to you. I mean, you can look
Right.
at so much. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice, cool. But if it speaks to you, I don't know. I mean, it's just me. Like, if oh my God, I won't let it go. And then I'll be like, no, I have to have that. Like the
that
one I
needs to
bought
be
after
in my
that one,
house.
I went to a slow and low fest. Had an art show. It was a photography art show in Pilsen, and they had all these pictures of like the lowrider show, right? Cars and everybody dressed up in cholo gear and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But there was one piece, and I'm telling you, I become obsessed over these things. The piece was from the back of the courtroom when they got the permit to do the show at Navy Pier.
Oh, okay.
Slow and Low is the first Chicago super show at Navy Pier. So it's like a big deal for Chicago,
Right,
right?
right, yeah.
And obviously, a lot of people, again, don't know about this because they don't know. How would you know about going to these things? So it was a bunch of car clubs that showed up the day of, I don't know what you call that, inauguration? Anyway, I don't know the word.
Not sure.
I don't know.
But so
We'll go
a,
with
a
that.
bunch of the car clubs went to the courthouse when they were asking for the permit, right, to have this huge show. And the photographer took the picture from the back. And so you see a lot of people have their car club names
Ah,
on their
okay.
shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's women like with their cholo hats, with
Yeah.
their straight long hair.
See, that would be dope.
Oh, and I was like in tears about it. I was like, that's so, to me, the line that kept popping in my head was, we deserve to be in rooms we were told not
Yep,
to be in.
yep.
And it meant so much because of corporate work and like work just in the art scene and being down and all these things. Like, I deserve to be in those places too. And
Yeah.
it's the shit to be exposed and have the opportunity to attend these things. I mean,
That's
yay,
awesome.
Chicago.
I wouldn't have known that either. So it's definitely good to be able to be exposed to that and
Yeah.
hear about it and educate people. So yeah. Thank you though.
Yeah, especially in our city. Chicago has so much stuff, dude. And
I
people just
know.
don't know.
We don't.
Yeah,
We
no,
don't.
Or you
you
see
gotta
it and you're
tell
like,
us.
I'm not going to that. Like, whatever.
I mean, there are so many festivals that I want to go to. It's just, with
Anxiety.
anxiety. It's also kids, like,
Time.
time but like, yeah, I would love to.
But that's
just-
another thing that's like good. That's how I actually found out about the lowrider thing. Or like the in the summer they do picnics. One, it's outdoors. Two, infinite space for me to run around in. You know what I don't want to be in a crowd. Oh no.
Oh no, I hate crowds.
same.
I hate crowds.
Yeah.
I get like, I don't know, like anxious.
Just thinking about it, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I
so
can't.
it's like, that's also another part that, kind of holds me back from going
Mm-hmm.
to like big, like networking events or just
Yeah.
kind of any type of like festivals, especially in the fucking heat,
Oh,
in the sun.
girl, yes.
Ugh.
Well, you got to check out a picnic with the kids. That's a third is that. Like, you can bring the kids and they love it,
I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all
I'll
I
go
did
with
last year with my little one. We would just walk around with our igloo. My beer's in there. Had like little Capri Suns on top of them and walk around with our blanket, look at cars. She liked to dress up because then, she's small.
Yeah.
So people would see her like dressed up as like a little Chicana, and I'm like, oh my God, can we take a picture of her with the car?
Love
Like,
it,
go for
love
it.
it, love it.
Yeah. And then we just get tired, lay out a blanket, like, we're just going to hang out here. Like, but it's a good time.
That's cute. You got to send us these pictures so we
Okay.
can
I
share
would
with
love to
our.
see those
Yeah.
pictures. Oh, I'd like
Our
to see the
peeps.
one that you said at the Navy Pier.
Yeah.
was-
Oh, man. The first year I dressed up, oh, that was so much fun. I also got really chopped, but that's a different story.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Chicago. Well, I was born in Mexico. I was born in Durango. My
Okay.
parents brought me over when I was 2. And I'm Chicago hardcore. Like, hardcore. I mean, at least I like to think so. Some other people might think different, but whatever.
Why? I mean,
I think you are.
yeah.
I think so,
You're more
too.
Chicago
I mean, I
than
got a whole
us.
tattoo. I better be.
I mean, yeah, you are. Because I moved to the suburbs when I was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
So, but then I moved back after high school.
I think too, like I grew up in the north side, so I grew up in Wrigley in the 90s. And back
Okay.
then it was ghetto. Like there was a lot of gangs. And it's funny, people are like, wasn't Boys Town down the street? I'm like, yeah, but
I
it was
didn't know
still
that,
really
to
bad.
be honest. I didn't know that Wrigleyville had like, there was like gangs and stuff.
Oh,
I
it
thought it
was
was
so
like more like
different.
Humboldt Park, Albany Park, Logan Square, like
All
those
these areas back then were really bad.
Yeah,
Like really bad.
I know. And now look.
I had unfortunately, like just being from here, I've had a lot of trauma with like gun violence and like assault and things like that because survival.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've been on my own for so much since I was 17 and like having the kids and so I think that also like that aspect of Chicago, right? Like I had to learn Chicago street living and hood living and being on my own and protecting myself and my kids.
So you're
and things like
street
that.
smart and you're book smart. So you got the best of both.
And I got a second degree black belt, so
Oh, mírala.
I should have brought the nunchucks down.
Oh my God. That's
But I
awesome.
mean, I think like, like my kids, they're growing up in the suburbs. Like that's what I'm like afraid of. Like, are you gonna,
don't
like,
be.
no, I mean,
Don't
I'm
be.
afraid that like it's like when they are like, adults
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, are they gonna be able to understand like the streets?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chicago streets because you
I
can
think
be
that
book
comes on
smart,
your own.
but are you
imagine
like
think of everyone has something that traumatic that happened to them as a child.
Yeah.
Whether they like to admit it or not, everyone has a thing, whatever it is to them, right? Think
Yeah.
of that one thing that happened to you back then, and think of that thing happening to you now.
Yeah, I mean, I already know from my past experience, like how I would do it differently, or.
But
like,
even if that didn't happen before and it happened now, you're wise enough now that you would
Oh,
handle
well,
it a lot
yes.
better than you did when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is my youngest and my oldest are completely night and day.
Yeah.
My oldest suffered a lot of trauma. My little one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been in therapy, and I'm like, I worry about my little one because she's so love spoiled and she's so like
Yeah.
niña, you know.
Yeah.
But you give them the tools and you talk to them enough to like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
it's not
that's-
always gonna be like this. I'm
that's
not
true.
always gonna be there to like catch you.
Right.
But when it happens, just be ready. This is what
Right.
like.
Keep your head on a swivel. That's how my husband says to
That's a
our
good
kids.
one. I like
Keep
that.
your head on a swivel because
Yeah.
you just never know. Like I can only like protect you so much, and you're here with me. I
Yeah.
can protect you, but once you're on your own, you kind of just
Scary.
you know.
I actually just also learned. I've been in therapy, family therapy for 6 months with my teenager.
Yeah.
So I'm relearning a lot of generational
Trauma.
generational like skills that, well, this is how I was taught. This is how I was raised. And
Right.
even in our head, even though we know better, we still carry some of that with us.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
unconsciously, like we do it to them. Like, obviously we know, like, well, I'm not going to do that because that didn't work, but I'm going to do it this way. But that's still wrong.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I
So,
know. I need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I've been encouraging the crap
keep
out of it.
telling her.
I keep telling everyone, like, just do it. Honestly, like, I didn't want to do it. I had issues with my teenager last summer, and I felt like I'm a single mom, you know? So I was like, I had no other option. And being the Mexican that I am, I was like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I got to do. Like,
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not giving up. And someone had mentioned family therapy. My daughter's been in therapy since she was 5. I haven't.
But you know what? Kudos to you for putting your child in therapy.
Thank you.
Because, like, yeah, my mom could have done that to me, when I was younger. My parents divorced and, I had a lot of trauma too. So I commend those parents that they know that their child is going through something traumatic and they're putting them into therapy because that is like the best thing, the best tool to give them.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, my oldest, I'll tell you, when she was 5, her dad was murdered. So obviously, I had never been in a situation like that.
Right,
So
right.
she obviously didn't, and a lot of people around me also was like new to this. So I didn't. I was processing. I didn't know it was like how to handle that.
Right.
And one day, as soon as like the day after he passed, she was like, "I'm going to school," and I was like, "Okay, well, that's a good
Right.
thing,
You're
right? Like
like,
you want to
"Oh,
go to
okay,
school,
right."
cool." But the teachers are calling me like, "This is weird." Like she's saying scary things for adults. When
Yeah.
if a little kid comes to a 5-year-old comes to you and says like some scary shit, you're gonna be like, "Oh, well, how do I?" What
How
do
do
I
I
say? What do
react?
I
What
do?
do I
Especially if
say?
they're not related to you.
Right.
So then she came home that day after school and she was like, I just need to talk to someone that I don't love.
Good for her.
And I was like, okay, therapy, got it.
Yeah.
And I was married at the time. So we just looked at her like, okay, yes, we'll do that. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know. I don't know how my kid would be right now. But
That's-
thankfully, she's doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That shoot, 5-year-old coming to you, I need to talk to somebody. That's huge.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a lot of 5-year-olds.
She did the hard work because I wouldn't have never thought of
Right.
taking her.
Yeah. How is family therapy now? Because I know, like, as a parent, to be in the same space and be vulnerable, that's a new thing that we weren't taught when
Well,
we were
you know,
growing up.
like when I got here, we're being ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We are individuals, but we are someone else with our kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like we are not this person when we're around. We are to an extent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's certain things that we go and we put our mom hats on, and it's over for you bitches. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's different because again, she's been in therapy since she was 5. I haven't.
Yeah.
And we're there specifically to work on our relationship. So it's like being open to hearing things I don't want to hear is hard. You know, me having to tell her things about myself that I don't want her to know. And just being open to hearing that guidance. Like, this is what you guys need to work on. This is what's going on. And to point out the issues, just, man, it's the hard work. It's the work that it would have taken years. Me and my daughter would not be together right now. My kid would not be living with me if we didn't go to therapy. Because we were fighting so much. But through therapy, there was another professional in the room telling us, like, this is what I'm seeing. And just her pointing those things out instantly, like literally instantly, fixed the major things, which was, teenagers.
Yeah.
Teenagers shut down and we go up.
Yeah.
We explode.
Yeah.
Like, you are not about to not talk to me.
Right,
We're going
right.
to talk about this right now.
That's
like,
me.
You start, or at least me, I start snapping my fingers. I start clapping my hands. My head gets a little crazier. No
You
closed
start
doors.
bobbing your head.
You better come eat right now. What you mean you're not hungry? You better come eat. And in therapy, I learned I'm being crazy. I need to chill.
I need to relax.
Yeah, I think I forget that she is a growing little girl.
Yeah.
She's has her own experiences to go through, and I have to relax.
Yeah.
Like, I got to give her the space to feel. Just how I would want someone to treat me, I have to treat her that way. Like,
I
you're
know.
pissed, I'm sorry. I'll talk to you when you're, go ahead, go. You don't want to eat, you know where the food is.
See, I have a hard time doing that. Like when
Yeah.
I know my
It's
son,
a Gemini in you, girl.
I know it's just like I know something's bothering him, and I just want to know like what happened. Did something happen at school? Tell me, talk to me about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, nothing. And I was like, no, tell me. I want I know something's going on.
Yeah.
Tell me. And
Why
he
you don't
just
wanna tell me?
Right. And then I was like, I'm not leaving until you tell me. So like I do that. I don't allow space.
Yeah.
But I also, it's like, You
It's
want to be that mom
tough.
to
Yeah.
to protect them, and if someone's saying shit to you at school, you better tell me because I'm gonna whoop some ass.
But
No,
that's
I'm
really
not,
all you
but
can
you know.
do. But that's, think about it, right? Like, in the situation that something, if it was, right? I'm not saying it is, but if it was, you think his first thought's gonna be, oh yeah, let me call my mom real quick.
Yeah,
She's
I
gonna
know.
beat your ass. I mean, yes, you are. He's gonna mean it, but the other kid's gonna be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Your mom ain't gonna do shit.
And that's how me and my daughter, like, that was a big thing for her, was that I'm ghetto to her, you know? She'll be like, I can't tell you anything. Right away, you want to, like, fight someone, or right away, you want to come and take care of it for me. Like, let
That's
me figure
me.
it out. And I'll be like, no,
Damn.
like, you don't know. It's going to be bad. And
That's so true. That
but,
is me.
yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
we're
today,
alike.
you know, for the podcast,
Like,
we went to soccer in the morning, and her and her little boyfriend took my little one to a birthday party. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Like,
aw.
I know.
It's like when you allow them to just kind of like give them space.
But if
and
I
then-
didn't do that, I wouldn't know there was a boyfriend.
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't
true.
know where my kid is.
You're right.
It would just be so much more secrecy. Also, another thing that this taught me with therapy was it normalizes them to feel like they're not. It normalizes their life with you, like the way they see us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because when they're growing up, when they're teenagers and they're discovering this whole new world of, like, they think they're grown, everything's a secret. Everything's, nobody can know.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
like,
true.
let me not tell her, she's on a trip. So when you chill more, they'll come on their own.
They feel safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That really helps me because I am that type of person.
Especially
That's true.
Chicago right now, like, well, here, right, with the young girls, like, there's so many teenagers going missing.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I cannot imagine what these moms go through. Like, I cannot even, like, begin to think that, right? I'm like, so I keep telling everyone, like, just go to family therapy, just go to a session, go to 2 sessions, if that. But let your kid talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a crazy world out there, man, and you just as a mom, as a parent, you just have to like let go. And that's hard.
hardest
That's the
thing.
hardest
It's
thing
hard right
ever.
now,
It's
shit.
the hardest thing ever. I'm like, right now my kids are still young. They're here, they're in my house, but like pretty soon my son is going to be in 8th grade and then in high school, and then I'm just like, I don't know.
And their world is online, too.
So that's the one thing. I don't allow him to have social media.
Good.
Just because I don't know. There's just so much crazy shit out there. And I don't want him to be like depressed or to look at somebody else's life and be like, I don't have that. Or I don't, how come my parents don't, take me to like all these luxurious trips and
Yeah.
shit, like. And it's like, yeah, like we can only do so much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to compare your life with somebody else's. His brain is not developed yet fully. So he just doesn't really like
So
understand.
you think. I'll challenge you. So
No,
you
but
think.
honestly, like when I went to college, they did tell me, like I took a class. I forgot which class it was. They said you don't your brain is not fully developed until you're like 24. And then every 7 years you change. Like your mentality changes.
That makes sense.
So that's why like some people that are married, when they're married at such a young age,
Yeah.
they grow apart because they start
They're not the same person.
They're not the same
Yeah.
person. So that's why marriage is hard work. So
Oof, I'm divorced.
but that
so.
is I mean,
But
there
yes.
were times where I'm all like, we need to do something. We need to fix this shit, or else I'm peacing out.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. I know, like, even seeing you with your husband, I'm like, I love it. I love seeing people make it through. I think that's awesome.
It's fucking
But
hard.
it's definitely
hard.
not for.
Yeah,
It wasn't for
but
me.
that brings a point like where it's like, yeah, your brain is not like fully,
Yeah.
developed.
So I got married. He is younger than me, and we were married 2 years, and we were fucking miserable. And then we separated, and we became fucking best friends. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, this whole time you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe you were just meant to be friends
Yeah.
and not like.
And even now, like, we co-parent. I envy ourselves. Like, just how we get along with the kids. Like as a family,
That's
we're
awesome.
amazing.
So does he have somebody else in his life?
No, I wish, because I want a baby and I kind of want him to have the baby. I'm like, can you go get another baby somewhere? Like, let me take care of it. No, he's been
Okay.
by himself. I'm sure he's had romances, but
I'm sure.
boundaries,
Yeah.
as soon as we split up, we both realized very quickly, like, our main thing is our kids. Our main thing is our family. So, like, be it we're together or not, like, we still have to respect each other too. So
Yeah.
we're personable, but we're not personal.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
I will never sit there and like ask him about, oh, so who you sleep with this week? You know what I mean? Like,
That's right.
but
That nosiness
and vice
in me.
versa. Like, he won't ask me where you going type shit, or like who you
of
talking
course.
to. Like,
I think that's because you guys have like grown so much, right? And like what to do and what not to ask, what it's like that shit don't matter. It's like
I will give him credit. It's probably mostly him. He's a lot better at like keeping boundaries. I'll be like, I want to know it all. Tell me everything.
literally that would
Yeah.
be me. I'd be like,
There was a time.
oh shit, I saw you yesterday. You were
Oh, no, if
clinking
people-
drinks with somebody.
If people see him and they know that's my baby daddy, and they'll go up to him and be like, oh, you're Donna's baby daddy. He'll be like, who? I don't know her. I'm like, you're a dick. Or obviously we do kid things together sometimes, like
Yeah.
soccer games or things like that. He'll literally be like, oh, that's my cousin. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Like,
I have a cousin that we had a child together.
we had my daughter's birthday party at a trampoline place in February, and the guy taking care of us from this place was so confused because he kept telling him, like, oh, you're talking to my cousin? Oh, my cousin? And I was like, oh, that's my ex-husband. And the guy was just, and I was like, stop saying that.
He was probably like, wait,
Well, Vida,
they fucking cousins? And then
he
they
was
got
so
married?
confused. And then
And
my
look
daughter's
at your face.
my daughter's friends' moms, like the parents were there from the school, And I was like, stop. These people fucking think we're weird. Like, stop. He's like, what's up, cuz? Cuz? I'm like, I'm going to punch you like a motherfucker. But it's cool. If I see him in the street, he'll literally be like,
Do-do-do.
That's cute. Well, I'm jumping in here.
yes, I'm
'cause,
sorry. I told you I talk a lot.
No. I mean, we can talk all day, and I, for real, think you have to come back.
Yes.
I'm down. I'm
No,
down.
seriously.
You're gonna be like a regular every season.
I'm so down.
Yes. I love your energy.
Oh, thank
honestly.
you.
Right?
Yes.
I know. I told
I
you.
was like,
I told you.
Karina was like, you guys will be friends.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I get along mostly with everyone. It's rare for me like to not. Pero también sirve mucho. I tell people like, art, right?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
art is this.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, es un poder tan sentimental que la gente se sienta comfortable with me. I
Yeah.
love that shit.
That
Yeah.
is, I mean, that's a gift, right? Because
Yeah.
some people are just so like closed off, and like I said, I had mentioned this before. Like I'm very shy at first. Yeah, I gotta observe
Yeah.
my audience, right?
yeah.
Before I can like let my guard down. But you brought it out of me
Oh, girl.
right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Y apenas empezamos.
I know.
I know, man. See, look, I already finished my drink.
Oh shit.
I'll
gotta
drink
catch-
yours too.
You got a whole bottle, girl.
But yeah, I think to close out, we can tell people what I drank. What I drank.
I
Was
know,
it
we
good
just
though?
got
Did you
right
like
into
it?
it.
It was good.
Low key, I was worried about impressing you because I know last time you guys were
She's
drinking
bougie,
something
right?
and
She
you didn't
bougie.
like it. And
No, I
was
didn't
like-
like it.
I was
She
like, I gotta
bougie.
bring something that
No, this was good. It was smooth. Yeah, why don't you tell us what you
healthy.
brought?
So I brought Tres Generaciones tequila from Mexico, real Mexico, and then
Real Mexico,
Real.
not New Mexico.
Exactly. This ain't no A18 tequila. This ain't no Casamigos. Let me stop. I'm talking shit. I'm sorry. And then I brought Topo Chico and piña tamarindo pop.
Yeah. Jarritos.
We were
Jarritos,
talking
yeah.
about indigestion and getting old.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to
probiotics,
use the Sprite or anything because
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mixed Topo Chico with the jarrito. Obviously, Topo Chico is just water,
yeah.
bubbly water. But it lets me still taste the pop or
Yeah.
soda, whatever.
yes.
But yeah, I like it.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for,
you.
for
Yes.
coming.
Yes.
You were the best.
You're gonna be a regular.
You are
for
the
real.
best.
I hope so. Whenever
Yes,
I'm here.
yes, of course. I want you here.
Yeah, I'm down.
Maybe
Yeah.
for our final episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'll
Oh,
be
mira.
cool.
I
Yes.
know. I was nervous to like bring guests because you had a whole roster, and I was like, yeah, but I got this one girl.
Yeah,
And
she was all like, right away. I was like, do you have anybody that will, want to come on our show? They're like, she said, yep, Donna. And I was like, who's Donna? What does she do? And
I'm
she was
like-
telling me about your art. And I was
Yeah.
like, bring her on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next time
Yeah.
I gotta tell you about the podcast I did during COVID.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Next episode.
That'll be next episode.
All right,
But,
but-
thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Well,
Nombre.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
the- Nombre. Tengo miedo.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Cheers with the bottle.
I can make one more little drink. We can make
Yes.
a mini drink.
Make
no,
another
make
mini
a full
drink.
one because this was good.
Oh, yeah. Just
A little.
I call them roadies, like when you gotta go. Yeah, this tequila's dangerous though.
We got
It's so smooth.
this one is good. I've never had tres Yeah.
Yeah.
Generaciones, yeah.
I was gonna bring next time. I'll bring it. It's called La Llorona tequila.
Yes.
It's women-owned.
Yes.
I met the ladies on accident doing this.
Oh,
Hablando el
wow.
pincho hocico que tengo. Y no me callo. I told you I don't shut the fuck up. Let me know when you gotta go and I'll just stop talking.
No, girl. We love that. I want to be like that.
Vanessa's like, all right, Karina, you're out. let's get Donna in here.
Me and Donna. I'm just playing. No, we need someone to level us out.
Yes. Las dos no. Two Geminis. Oh no, girl. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's fucking good.
Yeah. All right. Episode.
All right.
Soon. Oh, you guys do your
Oh,
thing.
you guys
Oh,
do
yeah.
your thing. I forgot what our thing was. Oh,
say-
V out.
I'm not gonna do that anymore this season.
That's
I was
fine.
told I was cringe.
Yeah,
So-
nah, you gotta do your own shit.
Goodbye.
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 Donna, you say something.
Peace.
Peace.